All right, greetings everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the FF14 characters. I'm going to be splitting these videos up and I'm going to be trying to get through it really quickly. So Grahatia is the one that I am going to be looking at first. Einsteinian will be a video that follows up shortly after. And I have to say, my overall impressions of this character are very positive, which you would expect from a new character. So far, he doesn't seem like the most broken character in the entire game, but both of the FF14 characters are based on a new mechanic called Boost. Boost is a new style of buffing which essentially can be stacked, as opposed to previous styles buffs which were one-offs. Now, what's also interesting is that Boost, as I have come to understand it, can't be removed even by Dispel. Now, that doesn't mean that it's golden for the rest of time, because eventually there'll be a character that comes out that removes, ignores, or destroys buff characters. I'm not going to say that this is anything more than probably a footnote in the history of things, because Spike, which was introduced earlier in this year, which reflects a part of damage away from the attack E, the defender, let's put it that way, is starting to be seen as a common thing of being gotten rid of. For instance, Grahatia can remove magical spike effects, which is good not only for him, but other magic attackers that he's with. Long story short, the boost effect is new, it's interesting, but if it's anything like the spike effect in 6 months, it won't probably matter at the most. So please remember that. I also expect future characters to start coming with this effect in the same way of Curse or, any of the other stuff that we've seen introduced in Wotv. Not terribly noteworthy, but there you go. Also, he has multiple single target attacks with excellent range. He has high amounts of accuracy and self-buff for evasion countermeasures. So overall, Grahatia is more than a capable character. He supports attack style attacks and buff style attacks, and all of this stuff will be just really good for this character, making what I have already seen evidence of just being a strong character. But if you're wondering, well, is he the one that I should recommend, or that I should put all my resources into? Unfortunately, I would say very much hold off. If you're looking for this as a competition between two different characters, I would say that neither of them particularly has grabbed me as being like a must-have at this point. But again, we'll see what happens in the following days. Blade Soul and Spellblade are his sub-jobs. His Trust Mastery is a piece of clothing, which is essentially, armor, so it's not as good as an accessory, but grants haste, and move and jump up if haste is present. Master abilities, Spirit Penetration, and Attack Skill activation time decrease. And Dream ability is physical damage and magical damage taken reduction of 10% each. So that's essentially what we are looking at here. Now, getting into talking about what I think is noteworthy here. Support skill, this big bastard of a thing, 24% magic, 40 magic attack resistance penetration, skill activation time of both types down by 250, physical distance-based resistance for both physical and magical. Sorry, I misspoke there. Magic damage increase of 10%, physical damage taken down by 20%, as well as magical if you have Ignore Fatal active. This is all on this one support skill. The Wall of Text, it's very good. You're always going to be running it. His other one is a haste-based one. So yeah, quite nice. This, however, is Blade Soul. His other individual one upgrades a single skill for him and also gives a 12% HP boost in AoE resistance. But yeah, speed is king. That's probably what you're looking at. With the Hermes Sandals, 128 speed, it's fine, I think, but, it's not incredible. And as is with the most recent equipment, this is also just basically for Grahatia, which is slightly disappointing because, again, you kind of want this character. You kind of want some of these new equipments for older characters, but they are really not supporting older characters. So besides magic attack, mental penetration rate of 20, healing power up of 15, and when taken damage 2 times or more, gets a couple of small HP heals. All of this builds into a really well-rounded character. His counter ability is counter slash and missile damage with healing up, which does synergize because he does have healing up powers. His limit burst dispels shells, reduces magic damage taken, buffs for targets, increases AoE resistance penetration of 40 for just this cast, since his limit burst is AoE, but most of his other attacks are single attack. Seals debuffs for 3 turns and a 240 mod, which is pretty interesting. As for Spellblade and Blade Soul, they have various buffs. They are commonly known jobs at this point, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Moving on to the sub part of his main job, he has 1 single thunder attack, which is interesting. It's noteworthy. Chance to inflict paralysis on it, which could be quite nice, but a shorter range than most of his other abilities. So is a footnote, but an interesting one. This one, select 2 targets, heal of 210 HP, and increase attack and magic. So a nice support-based skill that I think is noteworthy. And honestly, I think these 2 skills alone are worth considering in his main kit of like just supplementing and going with it because it seems really good. Basic attack reduces counter chance, deals minor damage, not too terribly much interesting there. This ability, which is in a massive wall of text, basically is his ignore fatal and gives him a bunch of effects for ignoring fatal, such as skill activation time down, reducing physical based damage. So long as he has protect or ignore fatal, he gets a bunch of buffs that can effectively improve him. This is one that I believe was also heavily advertised on the live stream. So yeah, not too terribly much that is new there, but is definitely a noteworthy skill, and I recommend checking it out if you want potentially more details. But moving on, this next ability, non-elemental, spirit down of 30, 220 mod, increase by 60 if you have at least 1 following effect, absorb HP, which is an interesting little strengthening ability for this. As for this other support skill that we have, this is one that is improved, gives a reduce damage taken by 7,500 HP. It says just damage, so both physical and magical. Accuracy by 30, protect, and also grants some effects for allies too, and grants him a 200% chance of physical damage reduction, which is quite nice. Looking like it also grants the effect of sealing follow-up attacks for 3 turns for allies. So that's the other ability that he has on it. As for his final 2 ones, decrease spirit by 30 for 3 turns for targets, 220 mod, 60% boost. Oh, sorry, that I'm rereading the same one I had. What the heck happened there? It's just ordering issues. Apologies. Let me redo this one. So it is a 2-hitter, select 2 targets, decrease single target resistance by a factor of 60 for 3 turns, 220 mod with an extra 30% hit chance. And there we go. The last ability, just Wotv calc organization issue there. You can select 2 targets, dispel auto revive, 220 mod, and cast another skill of an HP heal for self when he kills a target. Grantia looks like an absolutely solid character, very well built, and the buff ability that is on his skills, which is featured in that one that I kind of talked over a little bit, is still new enough that I'm not too sure how to evaluate it. We'll find out in the coming days about how good it actually is with performance videos and whatnot, and I'll report back on the buff effect in a separate video later, so please stay tuned for that. But I think that this is an absolutely solid character. The question is, how high will he climb? And whether Einsteinian will be the better character of the 2, or whether it will be Mr. Catboy here. Not too terribly sure, but for now, looks pretty good. And I will do a test run of him and more reports in the near future. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and see you later. For Einsteinian.